30 years of Jericho. My God, the time has just flown by. I'm John Rentham with my review of AEW Dynamite, and yep, we're celebrating 30 years of Jericho. And even with a couple things I didn't like, I enjoyed this episode of Dynamite for the most part. Now, there were a couple things I hated, and one thing I'm really fearful of for next week, but I actually enjoyed this episode. And yes, celebrating 30 years of Jericho. There was a bit of ego stroking with some of these celebrities, and some of them didn't seem to have a goddamn clue where they were. It's like they were just waiting for the check to clear. And, oh yeah, then I'll put some energy into my video. But you know what? I kid. And even with Chris Jericho's outside antics, if you ignore that and just focus on the in-ring career, sure, his in-ring work has not been all that good in the last year, but the man's worked from the Canadian independents to Japan, ECW, WCW, WWE, New Japan, even though after the Kenny Omega match, it pretty much slid down and it's been a steady decline since then. But positive. He has reinvented himself a whole lot and has done a lot of good in the ring. So that should be celebrated. And it is celebrated. We start off with, video clips from AEW talents, Darby, Jake Hager, Britt Baker, Jungle Boy, Santana Ortiz, Scorpio Sky, various others, talking about their favorite moments from Jericho's career, which is a long career, over many continents and many companies. And then we have JR, Shivani, Excalibur, Taz, and Ricky Starks on commentary. 5 people on commentary. That's way fucking too many. To be fair, though, Taz and Starks are just there to advance the storyline of this first match. Brian Cage versus Will Hobbs, the FTW Championship. That championship that meant fuck and all in ECW. You know my opinions on ECW. I never really cared for it, but I know why it was there. It was there to just advance the whole Taz, Shane Douglas storyline and all that. But anyway, this was a good Hoss fight, and it was some pretty damn good stuff. Of course, Excalibur mentioning something that actually gave me, a little more, a little more respect for Will Hobbs, just the stuff he's been through. Apparently, Will Hobbs and his brother were talking about, being, wrestler and manager in their careers. But apparently, Will Hobbs' brother, got killed, by gunfire and protected Will. So that's right there pretty goddamn inspirational. That's some really good stuff. And that was that actually, Taz was even just taken aback, okay, all respect to Will Hobbs for that, and then went back to calling the match. But that was some good stuff. Good, knowledge from Excalibur. It's a power for power battle. Both these guys are very agile, but also very powerful. Taz, of course, noticing the thickness of both men, because I had to point that out. Impressive spinebuster from Will Hobbs. He goes for a splash, misses it, drill claw, 1, 2, 3. And then Taz gets on the mic while Ricky Starks goes to the ring, and Team Taz is there, and Taz says, hey, you impressed me? How about you join Team Taz? Or else. And then Darby Allin comes down with a skateboard, and he's being all spoopy and mysterious. And I like Darby Allin, don't get me wrong. Seems like we're possibly going to get, a tag match a little bit later, probably. Maybe not the anniversary show, but the show after. And I like this. And I like the fact that they're still continuing this. They're giving Darby something to do. And Starks is really, really good. And Cage is also there. And then we get various celebrities like Slash. Did Slash know where he was? No, crackpot Dennis Miller also congratulated Jericho. Tanahashi, facing off against Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom earlier this year. Ted Irvine, his dad. And that was cool. They congratulated Jericho. That was nice. That was some nice stuff. Except for Dennis Miller, who... very, very odd that they include him in Slash. Hey, whatever. Maybe it's the Rock connection. I have no clue. Then Lance Archer with a weird promo where they kept spinning the camera around a whole bunch, but he was talking about facing Moxley next week. He seems to be doing okay, and that's, obviously it's a pre-tape, but this is good. I'm glad to see Lance Archer doing okay. FTR versus TH2, the Hybrid 2, Jack Evans and Angelico. It's an AEW Tag Team Championship match, and Evans got hurt earlier doing a dive. JR even pointing out, he took out 3 men and one was his tag partner. What the hell was he expecting to accomplish? So he hurt his knee on the dive, and FTR focused on that with some great tag team work. Really have no issues with this match. JR did mention Tanahashi, and actually pronounce his name right, which is the first time that he's pronounced the name of a New Japan talent correctly, because he sure as fuck didn't do it when he was doing American commentary for New Japan Pro Wrestling, for a couple years, along with Josh Barnett. Which I find kind of hilarious. I know JR Southern, I know he probably didn't give a shit, but God, he didn't even try. He didn't even try when he did, New Japan commentary. It's fucking embarrassing. So, then, the Bucks are watching TV, obviously making fun of how WWE talents watch TV, And then we get a superplex and splash, combo for the pin. There we go. So FTR gained the victory. They focused on Evans, and Helico got his spots in, but they didn't keep him in too long. They kept the weaker man in and targeted him and beat him. And that's good tag team action. And then the Bucks suddenly say, hey, wait, why is the cameraman watching us? That we knew was there, and they super kick the cameraman. I want to go on record right now and say that the Bucks, while they were in one of my favorite tag team matches, one of my favorite matches of the year, the Bucks are insufferable idiots. I just want to say that much. If you're a fan of them, fine, I'm not. And then the best friends show a pic of FTR's hot dogs because they're weenies. This is not making me root for Trent. I mean, I don't want to root for Chuck Taylor anyway. Who the fuck gave Chuck Taylor promo time? What the fuck? What the fuck, Chuck? What the hell? So, title match next week because apparently the best friends are the number one contending tag team, which I guess kind of makes sense because they did win that pretty damn good parking lot brawl. I will give them credit for that. Trent, I don't know how the fuck Trent didn't have like glass sticking in his back for weeks. So, MJF then cuts a promo about Jericho backstage, saying he really, saying after Double or Nothing, Jericho came up to him and said, you've really got something. Just take things from various people that you interact with and you'll really be something big. And said he pointed to Jericho, and Jericho just smiled. Obviously, this is going to be MJF and Jericho at full gear, and MJF's going to beat him. That's going to be some good stuff. Then we get Shaq, noted piece of shit Gene Simmons. Remember when, Kiss did that whole lip sync concert on Nitro? And it was the lowest rated segment in Nitro history, at least up to that point. Remember that? Yeah, Kiss. One of the most overrated fucking bands ever. You fight me on that, I don't care. You guys can like them, but I will never respect Kiss. Just goddamn overrated, goddamn fucking ridiculous. I mean, they got by on a gimmick, which credit to them. They're kind of like the Ultimate Warrior of rock. Now that's unfair. Ultimate Warrior, at least for a time, like had fans cheering for him. And Kiss has just lived off their reputation of like 2 songs. So anyway, we then get Don Callis, one of the worst wrestling commentators of this era. And he's teamed with Josh Matthews, who's the worst of this era. Don Callis was a big problem on New Japan commentary, and now he's an even bigger problem in Impact. So, we then get Lars Ulrich of Metallica and NDDP talking. So, cool, more stuff. And then vid package on Brody and Cody. Alright, I suppose you're expecting me to shit on this match. I suppose you are. One, I think they need to give Cody a little bit of pyro for his entrance because his entrance doesn't stick out enough. They need some pyro. I kid, of course. They gave him so much fucking goddamn pyro, I'm amazed they had anything left for the goddamn show. I know he's one of the executives, but goddamn, Cody. Ego much? Fucking hell. Now, Cody's going to be watching this. All right. So, Brandy and Arn come out to the ring with Cody. Because this match is so dangerous, it's a dog collar match, we have to have Cody's nepotism project there. And then we have Brody with the Dark Order. Well, Dark Order members John Silver and Anna Jay. Because we have to continue this Anna Jay Brandy feud that nobody fucking asked for because Anna Jay should not be involved with her. Anna Jay should be involved with other people that actually have talent. But anyway, it's dog collar match for the TNT Championship. Prince of Pro Wrestling, Cody. Greg Valentine's also watching for the crowd. Greg Valentine looks like a goddamn turnip with eyes. And he's looked like that for years. He's not a good representation of my state. Because he was involved in the dog collar match with Roddy Piper at the first ever Starrcade. So I get why. John Silver gets busted open pretty instantly because Cody just goes after him. And there was a lot of blood in this. Now, Cody did stop bleeding at one point, pulling a Shawn Michaels from SummerSlam 2002, which was a bit shocking. Almost said 2000. I was like, wait, Shawn wasn't wrestling then. Into the barricade, into the chairs. We get, The cutter on the outside was kind of cool, but here's my problem. Why did they do the table bump during the break? Now, if this was a live show, it's badly timed. If this is a taped show, it's even worse. Why the fuck did they do the table break during the break? I just don't get it. Brody bleeding badly, really badly. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Dark Order, and I've been pretty harsh on Brody Lee as far as being an uninteresting character. Goddamn, he bled a lot during this. That was a lot of blood. A lot of blood. And a lot of blood, especially going on during a pandemic. I know a dog collar match is supposed to be violent, but fucking hell. Arn then gets in because Alex Reynolds, tried to attack him into the spinebuster. Well, actually, he was trying to get at Brody because Brody hurled a chair and almost hit Arn. I mean, he got close. And then Arn got in and hit a spinebuster on Reynolds. And then Brody safely hitting Arn because he knows he has injuries. And then we get a moonsault for 2, and then we get a crossroads for 1. And then chain on the face. We get a whole bunch, just wrapping the chain around Brody's face. And suddenly Crossroads for 3. New TNT champion, once again TNT champion, Cody Rhodes. I actually expected Brody to win. But, everyone's out to celebrate. The Dark Order get Brody Lee away. I don't know what the fuck is next for Brody Lee. Don't really care, because the Dark Order is shit. I will give him credit for busting his ass during this, but that's about it. And then Cody's like, oh, my hair got dyed and everything. I should turn evil. No, I'm sticking with all of you people until the very end. Good. Good for Cody. Good for Cody. And then he says he will defend the title next week, but against who? Orange Cassidy shows up. If Orange Cassidy becomes TNT champion after Brody Lee beat the shit out of him, basically, in a match recently, it's going to be ridiculous. Like, goddamn. I mean, has Orange Cassidy benefited from this feud with Jericho? This recent feud? I don't think so. I know he's got fans, and that's fine if you are. I'm not. So we then get tournament additions to go along with Omega, Phoenix, and Jungle Boy. Now Wardlow, Colt Boom Boom Cabana, and Adam Hangman Page. We then cut to Kenny Omega, who can't talk for shit, and mentions Page about 50 million times because he's going to face him in the finals. That's pretty much where they're going with it, and the finals are going to be a Full Gear. And it should be Omega and Page. Because if they're going to tell this story, whether I care about it or not, if they're going to tell this story, go all the way with it and have them face off in the goddamn finals. And you have Omega cheat, and then you have Omega beat Moxley. Because otherwise you have Page beat Moxley, and then Omega can beat Page. But I think the better call is Omega and Moxley facing off on Dynamite, maybe the last Dynamite of the year, and we get that championship change right there. So, we then get Big Swole with Black Lives Matter's armbands, that is. And you know what? If you have a problem with her wearing those, fuck you. I don't fucking care. Serena Deeb was her opponent. Serena's good. Swole, that being said, in the ring is kind of awkward. Dirty Dancing for 3. Match wasn't bad. It just wasn't anything of note. Moxley then is in a bar, an empty bar. He has one shot there, one opportunity to seize a moment. Would you capture it or just let it slip enough? Talks about Archer and says, well, like you said, everybody dies, and takes a shot and leaves. And next week, we're getting Mox versus Archer for the AEW Championship. Best Friends versus FTR. AEW Tag Team Championship. Kip and Miro in action. Hopefully it's better than the debut of Miro before. And then Cody and Orange Cassidy for the TNT Championship. Lance Storm, 30, hence why I'm wearing this shirt. But Lance Storm, he's been friends with Jericho for years. They broke in together, so good, good for them. And Kevin Smith, who's lost a lot of weight, and I know he had health issues, so good for him on getting healthy. Eli Roth, the guy that directed Cabin Fever, that horror movie that was absolute dog shit. What was with the slow-mo karate girl on the porch? What was that about? Gabriel Iglesias and Chavo Guerrero Jr. Steel Panther, I have no fucking idea who Steel Panther is. Ultimo Dragon, got to meet Ultimo Dragon about a year and a half ago at an indie show. Great guy. Great to see him in the ring. And then Paul Stanley. Cool. Paul Stanley. Let's have more KISS members here. No, let's not. So, Jericho and Hager versus Chaos Project, Luther and Serpentico. I'm going to be quick. This was shit. This was dog. It's going with Luther and Jericho's friendship. Luther did not deserve to be here. Fucking hell, it was bad. He dives. It took forever. I know he's almost 50, but so is Jericho. This wasn't good. Judas Effect 3. Cool. Whatever. The match might as well have been, if it wasn't celebrating 30 years of Jericho, it would have been on Dark. Or would have been opening the show. Jericho then starts a promo. MJF interrupts. And count with me, Jacksonville, if you can. That was a good line. And then Clownico. Yeah, okay. If I'm going to kill WWE for this kind of comedy, I'm going to kill AEW for this. This was not good at all. He has a gift. It's a picture of MJF. And MJF says he has a career-making announcement next week. He wants Jericho to be there. It's going to be MJF attacking, and we're going to get that match at Full Gear. And, yep, picture over the clown's head. They tease the face off, and then everybody comes out to celebrate. And the credits of Jericho. Used camera and everything and all that stuff by Jericho. So, no, not perfect, but you know what? Besides that main event bullshit, I actually enjoyed this show for the most part. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm Charm Retlin. I'll see you soon.